straight left and then a series of punches. And that fight was ended in the first round. And then his wife gave birth on November 15th to a baby girl. 2 weeks later, his wife's mother passed away after her fight with cancer. So it's been that kind of a year for John Molina.
Can't judge a book by its cover, but sometimes you can get a chapter or two out of it and figure it by the cover. And looking at the cover of the two guys, you kind of get the idea, as I touched on in the fight plan. Molina's the stronger guy. You know, just physically has more of a presence than the thinner Klimov. Klimov does a lot of bouncing with those feet. A lot of times he'll be looking.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is already. You must have heard me. You know, he'll go in and out like I illustrated, but he'll bounce in front. Now, if they did their work in the corner during the, if his trainers, Molina's trainers, I'm sure they did, he has good trainers, did their work looking at videotape, they made him aware of that in training camp. And what I would have said to him was, John, when you see Klimov bouncing in front of you, attack. Because when he's bouncing, he's not set to punch, he's not set to move his head, he has to come down and settle before he can do those things. Don't let him settle. You see a bounce, come forward. I think the jab can land. Not that Molina is prone to throwing a lot of jabs, but it can land with Klimov. Klimov's in front of you. And again, when he's bouncing, I think there's going to be plenty of opportunities to do that. Move your hands and maybe catch Klimov while he's bouncing. A lot of wasted movement. You know, you're seeing all this movement from Klimov, but is it educated? You know, is it effective?
Completely unnecessary.
Yeah, it's unnecessary. And again, I got a guy moving a lot like that in front of me. I'm in the corner of Molina. I'm saying, look, all that movement, don't let it hypnotize you. Use your jab, stabilize him. Shoot that jab out. Even if it's to Klimov's chest, shoot it out. Don't get caught up in that movement. Matter of fact, take advantage of him where he's not set while he's moving and dominate him, starting with that jab.
There's a double jab by the Russian.
You can see Molina has been in with better opposition. He shows you that with his demeanor. He's a little calmer. And you can see Klimov a little higher strung, a little more excited with this moment.
Reminder, head over to Facebook and the Friday Night Fight live scoring page to join in and score along with Teddy. Seattle, and we're glad to return to this magnificent facility. Round 2 of our main event scheduled for 10. Andrey, Klimov, and John Molina. John Molina now trained by Robert Garcia, who's been quite busy with Nonito Donaire and Brandon Rios, trainer of the year last year in boxing.
Yeah, this is a great casino, beautiful area, you know, beautiful country, and just well taken care of by all the people here. The CEO, Michael Starr, couldn't have his people treat us any better than they've treated us here. It's just a pleasure coming in. A beautiful facility, as we just said.
And then next week, we're heading back to our home base. We'll be in West Orange, New Jersey, as we change scenery just a little bit, going from the evergreens of Shelton to West Orange for next week's card.
If you didn't tell me, I wouldn't know the difference. No, but truly, not only is it beautiful here, but as I said, the people just couldn't be nicer to us, starting right from the top, all of Michael Starr, the CEO, all the way to every worker in the facility. And right now, the key word is work, and the fans here starting to show their displeasure, getting a little antsy, booing a little bit. They'd like to see more work, and we touched on it. Klimov, a lot of wasted movement, but not effective movement. And there's an effective jab. And the reason he landed a jab on Molina, well, he's guilty of not doing enough either. Waiting in front. Right now, I think waiting too much and maybe allowing Klimov, who really hasn't been in this position in a big fight yet, allowing Klimov maybe to get rid of some of the nervous energy and settle down a little bit. if I'm Molina, if I was in the corner, I would have said, look, he's a nervous guy. Get on him a little bit. Take advantage of that. Don't wait till he starts to relax.
Yeah, Klimov first 10 fights were back home in Russia. Then he came to California and didn't accomplish much there. Just went on and continued with his win streak. And then most recently, back on March 8th, Teddy, he fought an Argentinian fighter named Mateus Gomez back in Moscow, and there was a bad cut that opened up over Klimov's left eye. And don't you know, back home in Russia, there was a 20-minute deliberation in the ring, the local commission discussing things with the referee, telling him it was a clash of heads. Most observers saw a punch, so of course they went to the scorecards, where Klimov happened to be ahead 70-63 on all three scorecards. Funny how that happens sometimes over there.
Unless you're the opponent, then it's not that fun.
No. Of the country, as Friday Night Fights returns to the Little Creek Casino Resort, round number 3 of our main event between Klimov and Molina. Molina has provided fireworks with bursts of offense throughout his history of appearing on our boxing series. Yet to see much so far early tonight.
You know, you mentioned it the last round. Klimov had a bad cut over his left eye in his last fight, and for me, probably not enough time for it to heal properly, and I think probably definitely not enough time to train properly, you know, get in enough sparring. Right now it doesn't matter. I mean, you don't see anything bothering him as far as his timing or not having had enough sparring, because Molina is fighting at such a slow pace.
Right.
You know, those things wouldn't show themselves, but if Molina steps it up a little bit, maybe the lack of sparring, and I got to guess that Klimov couldn't do the normal amount of sparring. He had to wait and start a little late because of that headbutt. Or that cut, I should say, from the headbutt.
With some of his training in California. Bernardo Osuna was listening into the corner of John Molina. Bernardo, what did you hear?
Robert Garcia was emphatic, telling John Molina, get to work. This guy's got no power or speed. You've got to cut off the ring, come in with your chin down, land some combinations. Don't give away any more rounds.
Thanks, Bernardo.
Molina has been in with the better competition. He should be behaving a little better early on. You know, with the confidence of that better competition. He's fought for a world title. Should be trying to be the boss a little bit more. Garcia's right. Obviously, going into this fight, Molina and his people were hoping that his experience with a better level of competition, and of course his right hand, would make the difference. But right hand can't make the difference if you don't go forward and throw it. And so far, Molina not throwing it.
You can see some red, some bruising up near the hairline, top of the right forehead of John Molina.
Well, Klimov has been involved in a lot of head clashes. I mean, he has a technical win because of a head clash in his career. He's been involved in quite a few fights. Matter of fact, his last 3 fights, Klimov has been involved in fights that have come from head clashes. Molina has also been involved a little bit, banging around with the head, so would be no surprise if something comes a little red up top.
And now there's some blood coming from the left eye of the Russian.
So that's the eye that was cut badly.
Oh, it's a right hand. Looking to target that cut.
Ants in his pants, or at least in his feet, and you can see someone right there bouncing, shaking a little bit. The only thing is Molina needs to take more advantage of that shaking, that bouncing, by being more aggressive.
Mike Rodriguez, the cut man for Andrey Klimov, went to work after that 3rd round trying to deal with that left eye. We detailed early on here the situation that Klimov faced back in March. Teddy had talked about it. Going back to it, Molina said, I want to try to target that left eye. And in the 3rd round, there was a punch that landed. Commission saying cause of now the cut on the left eye is from a punch from Molina.
Well, I said at the beginning, before there was any red, that I just didn't feel Klimov had enough time for that cut to heal. I mean, if I'm the trainer, quite honestly, I'm not sure I would have okayed this fight. Doesn't mean Klimov can't win it or won't go on to win it. But I don't think I would have okayed the fight. I would have given him more time for that to heal properly.
Into round 4. Through 3 rounds, Teddy has it 29-28 for the veteran John Molina. You, the viewer at home, Klimov taking the first 3 rounds in the eyes of the viewers.
You know,
you can go to Facebook and click on the live scoring to join in.
I'm surprised the corner of Molina, at least from what I can see, they haven't implemented in the plan that I've seen so far any feinting. You know, I haven't seen Molina do any feinting to get that premature move of Klimov. You know.
You called for it in the fight plan.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know Klimov's going to use his legs as much as he can. So feint him a little bit.
Commit.
Yeah, commit. Get those legs out of the way. Let him make his move. And then go fill the space. Go find him. Instead of chasing him like that and falling into space. You know, coming up short. Touching air. You want to touch a body. So you feint him, you let him use his legs, and then you know exactly where you have to go.
CompuBox showing a slight connect edge for John Molina.
Again, no feinting by Molina. Legs being used by Klimov. I'm surprised. And I'm surprised Molina, a couple good body shots, not using the jab more. And he uses it there pretty well.
Oh, there's a left hook that sends Klimov back a step.
Well, now the physical advantage that we talked about of Molina, the strength, starting to show this round as the mouthpiece of Klimov goes flying.
Punch landed, mouthpiece went flying as Molina's on the attack. Klimov tries to meet him with a left hook. Molina sends a right to the body. Much better action here in round 4.